Hey, folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by The Spies Are on the Move. Yes, it looks like Jason Bourne will have a bidding war for himself. Universal has lost the rights to the franchise and now has gone to the estate of the original author of the Bourne novels, Robert Ludlum. Skydance, Apple, and Netflix have already met with the estate to begin talks of acquiring the franchise. Not only will the winner secure the right to own the existing 5 films, but more importantly can also then expand the franchise, which will undoubtedly happen. There was a report last year that Matt Damon would be returning as Jason Bourne for a new film, which was set to be directed by All Quiet on the Western Front and last year's Conclave director, our old pal Eddie Slider, or as most refer to him, Edward Berger. In fact, the movie was somewhat in pre-production and was given a title called Bourne Dilemma. The project was apparently moving too slow, though, and was eventually panned. So we'll see who wins the bidding war, but we can certainly expect some more Jason Bourne, and most of all, more shaky cam action scenes. Let's jump across the pond for an update on our MI6 spy, James Bond. And in fact, just expect a Bond update almost every week because the news is non-stop right now. But it looks like Amazon will be fast-tracking a new Bond film, and that's really no surprise there. It looks like Amazon is aiming for a late 2027 release, probably that last weekend in November, which is usually a big blockbuster release weekend. It is also reported that the studio has picked up 2 producers to helm the project and bring Bond into a new era. Amazon is in talks to get Amy Pascal and David Heyman, both big players. Amy Pascal was a studio head at Columbia and Sony. She then turned to producer and oversaw the very successful Tom Holland Spider-Man films and the Into the Spider-Verse animated films. David Heyman is also no slouch himself. First of all, he's from London, which will add some calm to the Brits, I'm sure, but he has been a producer on Marriage Story, Gravity, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the first 2 Paddington films, Barbie, and most of all, Heyman has been a producer on all 8 Harry Potter films, and also the not-so-good Fantastic Beasts films. But still, the guy is a player. I mean, just going through his IMDb, I don't know how you have the time to produce as much as he has. But with that, Amazon is clearly trying to build a highly experienced team, and with that, there is even more news on 007. If Amazon wants the next film to be released in late 2027, that time frame actually lines up with Christopher Nolan's schedule. Nolan's current project, The Odyssey, is filming as we speak and has a release date set for July 17th, 2026. This would allow filming for the next Bond film to take place in late 26, early 27, in order to get that November weekend release. However, not so fast, because it is reported now that the previously mentioned producer David Heyman has already approached another director to possibly take on the project. Alfonso Cuarón is the man who might end up in the chair. Alfonso and David have worked in the past together. Cuarón directed Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban, and he wrote and directed Gravity. He then also directed Children of Men, starring Clive Owen, and his latest notable project was 2018's Roma, which won 3 Oscars. In fact, Alfonso Cuarón was approached in the past to direct a Bond film, but was turned off when he found out he wouldn't be in charge of directing the action scenes. Apparently, Barbara Broccoli had her own team for that. But anyway, as always, everything just mentioned isn't quite set in stone. We'll certainly keep you all updated as new reports come out, which I said before might end up being every single week. Let's keep things moving now because another year, another Ridley Scott film. Yes, Ridley isn't even going to be filming his next film until next month, but appears the production will be fast-tracked for a release in 2025 already. Ridley was going to make a Bee Gees biopic that was slated for this year, but that fell apart because of contract disputes, meaning Ridley wanted more money, so now his current project titled The Dog Stars is getting all the energy. The Dog Stars is a post-apocalyptic story after a pandemic. It's based on a 2012 novel by Peter Heller. Ridley managed to get over $100 million for the project, and he also will apparently have 1,000 extras on set, and it will star rising talent Jacob Elordi from Saltburn, Priscilla, and TV show Euphoria. The film will also have Margaret Qualley, Josh Brolin, and Guy Pearce co-starring. But man, Ridley Scott, the dude doesn't stop. To film in spring and then release in fall, that just does not happen anymore. In other director news, it appears that Quentin Tarantino will be making another film. Last week, everything was just heavily rumored, but the rumors look to be true. Tarantino is eyeing to start production this December, and the cast so far is said to be with Brad Pitt, Uma Thurman, and Sam Jackson, of course. Still no news about the film itself. It sounds like it will not be The Movie Critic, the project that Tarantino halted last year. Only other thing I have here is some Pixar news. Disney CEO Bob Iger announced that Coco 2 is currently in development. But these movies take a long time to make, so they are expecting to release the movie in 2029. And it probably could be made faster than that, but it would mark the 10th anniversary that the original Coco movie came out. Also, Disney has a decent slate of films already, so there's 2 originals called Elio and Hoppers, and then we have Toy Story 5, Incredibles 3, and Cars 4. I think there's also a third Frozen in there somewhere also. And I really hope Disney gains a soul again and can make some great original stories like they used to, but you can't really blame them for milking the existing stuff dry. They tried for 5 years to create original characters and IP after Toy Story 4, and it just fell completely on its head. But I am personally comforted in knowing my future grandchildren will have their heartstrings plucked as they watch Woody give the eulogy at Buzz Lightyear's funeral in Toy Story 17. And with that, folks, let's check out the box office for this past weekend, where things were pretty poor, actually, seeing as though 4 films were within $600,000 of each other. So 5th best for the weekend, but actually 4th best for the weekend, was both Novocaine and Mickey 17. They both brought in $3.7 million. Third was Captain America Brave New World with $4 million. Black Bag was 2nd best for the weekend with $4.3 million. And the best film by far was the newly released Snow White. Yes, after 2 years of trials and tribulation, it released to an opening weekend of $43 million, which for some movies might be good, but not really for this movie. Disney was certainly hoping for better domestically and worldwide. We'll see how it continues to do, but maybe some subpar reviews there have parents just waiting for it to come out on Disney Plus instead. Coming up this Thursday on the Daily Ratings, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing 2 brand new films that didn't even crack the top 5 this weekend. So we have Ash, a sci-fi thriller directed by record producer Flying Lotus. We then have Alto Nights. It's a Robert De Niro mob movie written by the guy who wrote Casino and Goodfellas and directed by Barry Levinson, who directed Good Morning Vietnam and who directed 4 Academy Award-winning movie Rain Man. Literally, a brand new movie, Alto Nights, and it made less than $2 million. And then, of course, our third new film for this week that we're covering is Snow White. And oh yes, I saw it too, so we'll have some fun this week coming up on Thursday. But that's it for your weekly movie news, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from a director, Ridley Scott. The best films are driven by the characters. And we'll come to the superheroes after this if that's what you want, because I'll crush it. I'll f***ing crush it. They're f***ing boring as shit. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings weekly movie news podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.